Day 12 of Stories to Get You to Christmas. We have Santa, are you for real? Santa, are you for real? For real? 'Twas the night before Christmas, and out on our street a wee boy was standing, big boots on his feet. He stomped them and kicked them, threw snow at a rock to crowd out the songs of the kids on the block. Hey, 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 he heard them say, Santa's phony all the way. Hey, no way, a flying sleigh. Dad watched Todd come in, saw his face was all glum, so he bent down and asked, what's the matter, old chum? No Santa or reindeer will come to our place. The chimney's too skinny, he can't fly. He's not at the North Pole, it's all a big lie. Dad reached for the boy, pulled him tight to his side, and kissed him and told him, let's see, Todd, who's lied. St. Nicholas was a real person. He lived about 300 years after Jesus was born. He loved Jesus very much. Our favorite story about him goes like this. Nicholas loved to give gifts, especially to the poor, only he gave them secretly because he wasn't looking for thanks. Nick had a kind but poor man with 3 lovely daughters who all wanted to get married. But in those days, a woman had to have money, a dowry, before a wedding could be announced. When Nick heard about this, he put some money in a bag and while it was dark, walked to their house. He tossed the money into the oldest daughter's room and it fell into a stocking hung there to dry. Nick quietly left. The oldest daughter had a marvelous wedding. Later, on another night, Nick did the same thing for the second daughter. And who had helped them, they wondered? One daughter was left. Would someone give her a dowry too? Not too long after that, Nick sneaked up to her house and tossed a 3rd bag of gold. But this time the father heard him. Nick realized he had been seen and tried to dash away, but the father ran and caught him. The father recognized Nick and smiled. Keep my secret, Nick said, and the father did. For years after that, no one knew who had helped the 3 daughters, but because Nick loved Jesus, he kept doing kind things for people. After he died, people called him a saint. And over the years, people remembered St. Nicholas and how he gave gifts. In Holland, they called him Sinterklaas. In England, they called him Father Christmas. In France, they called him Père Noël. And in the United States, they called him Santa Claus. The real St. Nicholas is now in heaven with Jesus. When you see a Santa in a store or a parade, think of St. Nick. Of course, some children know all about Santa and presents and reindeer, but forget all about Jesus. For St. Nick, that would ruin Christmas. For that, Jesus was his whole life. St. Nicholas gave gifts because Jesus gave on the first Christmas to give himself for us. Todd said, I'm going to do what Nick was about. I'm going to give gifts and not be found out. Todd ran up the stairs, his face full of scheming. A long time went by till he came back all beaming. Stuffed toys and a dump truck, a clown with 1 leg, all wrapped for Michelle and her brother Greg. Todd piled them high by the tree lighted bright and then announced, St. Nick's here tonight. I'll act like St. Nick, Todd said to his dad. It's Jesus he loved. He makes us all glad. His dad just laughed as he lifted the boy. That's wonderful, Todd. To share gives us joy. As the family sat round and talked half the night, Todd thought he saw in the snow and moonlight a bright-eyed St. Nicholas with his sack looking in and a wide across his face a jolly old grin.